Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Fires upfield into the end zone, and it's caught. Jelani Woods, touchdown! IND1!
43-point night for Tyrese Halliburton.
How do you like that, partner?
Renew now, drives in low, throws up a shot. It doesn't go. Tipped up and in by Anthony Leal. Indiana takes the lead.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Now, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Happy 4th of July. I hope you're having a great day. And if not, we're going to get it headed in that direction for you. Hope that you've got either the day off or a day off coming to where you can enjoy that. I am dressed in the festive red, white, and blue for you. Another great show full of fireworks. Shannon Griffith will join us, talk some football. Bob Kravitz. Who knows what we'll talk about with Bob from Bob Kravitz at bobkravitz.com, and special guest Gabe Cupps, member of the IU basketball program, will be joining us as well. So Rudy says, working on a holiday impressed. Hey, ask John. There would be no holidays if it were up for me, right, John?
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes I got to crack that whip, but I let a little loose this time around.
Yeah, it probably. He's exactly right on all accounts, but there was just no point to not doing a show today, really. We figured that, you know what, whether your guys are home or not, you're going to be listening and looking for some entertainment of some sort. So I thought I'd have John break out his music box and monkey here a little bit. So we've got that going for you. But no, another great lineup. What a great week it has been, John. And I'll be sending this out, but if you're not following Indiana Sports Beat Radio on a regular basis, you're missing out on a lot. Let's go back to Monday. Of course, you've got the great Greg Rakestraw and Todd Leary, Dustin DePirick, and Kyle, who was with us? Which Kyle was with us Monday?
I don't think we had any Kyle with us on Monday.
Really?
Kyle Nedenrip was with us
on
Wednesday.
No, that's but then on Tuesday, of course, you got regular Mike, our guest Mike DeCourcy, Chronicousia, but we had Charlie Miller this week on Wednesday, our normal lineup with Dylan Sin, Kyle Nedenrip, and Rick Bozich. But then today we had Gabe Cupps to the lineup, and then tomorrow we're not done. What a spectacular week of fireworks. How about Xavier Johnson joining us on the program tomorrow, and Todd Hollowell. You won't know his name, but he's someone that I met that is actually a big time follower of the show, but he himself is a big time professional fisherman, possibly one of the most successful in the state. And he has recently been moved up to actually works for the Professional Fishing Association. So we'll go through all that tomorrow. But I know there's some fishermen out there. I know Ross. I see him all the time. He's got that boat in the water down on Lake Barkley, which is a great place to be. And by the way, I was on which one has the prison on it, affectionately known as the Cumberland Castle. It's the prison down in Eddyville, Kentucky. I know that Ross will know that if he's following right now.
Is it the women's prison?
No, it's the men's prison, but there's Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. They're called the land, and then there's the land between the lakes it's in southwestern Kentucky, and it goes into Tennessee. But very well known waterways for people. But anyway, Ross, I think, was just on Lake Barkley not too long ago. So there you go. Justin, exactly. Both point guards from last season on the show this week. Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way. Bill says, happy birthday, America. Thanks to all the men and women who made this country possible and to those who keep it the greatest country on earth. Absolutely. I know it's not Memorial Day, but thank you to all of our servicemen and women, for those who have served, those who are serving, and those that will serve. I salute you and greatly appreciate being able to do this every day, to have the opportunity to talk to you guys. It's a privilege and an honor, but it wouldn't be happening if we were in Russia. We wouldn't have the ability to do this. So absolutely big thanks to you guys. Trace Jackson Davis's Golden State Warriors, they're the dynasty, as they would say in England. It's the band's breaking up, man. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry together for 13 seasons. And amongst that time, they are two of the six best three-point shooters in NBA history. Along that line, they won 4 NBA titles. They went to 6 NBA Finals appearances, but it's no more. And so the dynasty is going away. What does that mean for Trace Jackson Davis? Who knows? Who's next is, daggone it, drawing a blank on his name right now, but the guy that always gets in trouble. But yeah. Justin says, thank you, Bungalow Bill. I like that. I call him Buffalo Bill, but Bungalow Bill is a lot better. We're going to go with Bungalow Bill from now on. Ask Brittany Grenier. Well, exactly. If I was in Russia currently, Justin says, they would kick the door in and take all my goodies. I hear that. Goodies will get you in the gulag. Yes, it does. The splash is done now with the Splash Brothers in Golden State. Who would that be? Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest today without Joey Chestnut, who was unceremoniously uninvited to the event because he represents a different brand of hot dog, which that's like saying, oh man, you can't participate in this track meet because you wear Adidas instead of another brand. But oh well. Who's the Michigan State bum? Rudy says that Michigan State bum. Not sure what that is, but yes, so you got that going on. Then the Lakers, how about this? They signed LeBron to a 2-year, $104 million deal. Not a big deal. But they signed Bronny to a guaranteed roster deal. All right, what are you kidding me? His agent, who was the same agent as his dad, had told teams, do not draft Bronny James without the plans for a guaranteed roster spot. Well, first of all, you have no worries because nobody in their right mind was going to draft him. That's why he fell to where he fell. And he wouldn't even have been drafted by anyone. But not only does he get drafted by the Lakers, he gets a guaranteed roster deal, which, come on, man. How is this special to anyone? How is this special to LeBron when you are forcing the issue, when it is completely and totally undeserved, when it's only happening because you're forcing it to happen? How do you enjoy that? How is there joy? You can't relish that as any kind of success. That's just egomaniacal, narcissistic behavior, if you ask me. I don't care. I have a daughter. That would be great, but I would hope that I would have the sense not to do that. But it's not like this is the first time in the history of the world. It's just the first time in the NBA. Bob Knight, Pat Knight, did Calipari have a kid? Sutton, Eddie Sutton, the guy that followed him, Smith, Tubby Smith, all did it. Kids on there. We've seen it a ton of times. But there's a difference. They were just on the team, and they weren't I just see that as a different situation in college than in pros. But oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Shannon Griffith is gonna join us, and we're gonna talk about Indiana's defense coming up. We talk about a lot of things, but as I've mentioned this week, Pro Football Focus put out their top 10 defensive transfers in the country. On that list, Indiana had 3 out of the 10. Nobody else had 2. Not Ohio State, not Miami, not Alabama, Indiana. So they're working it, and from both sides. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, of course, driven by Andy Moore Honda. Just go to andymorehonda.com and get more to your door, and the Autograph app, where real fans get unreal rewards. Just go to your Apple app or Google Play Store today, download the Autograph app, and use media code ISB Media. Autograph, where unhinged fans get unreal rewards. Back with Shannon Griffith right after this.
We'll be right back for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
In the market. And
Good
how
morning,
about the
Shannon.
Reds? How about
Hello.
the Reds?
Hello, boys. Hey, I got that on air sign that you got behind you there. I just got mine.
Yeah?
Same company, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure. Does yours say Jim Coyle too?
No, I didn't reference you.
Oh. Oh.
Crap.
What's new?
Hey, man, just taking a day to refresh. Busy week.
Busy week. Oh, dude, last night, I'll tell this. So after working all day, I decided that I needed to go outside and do some outside work. The patio area just hadn't been cleaned up. I mean, it had leaves and that kind of crap, And so I'm like, all right, today's the day. Because there's a gate that matches the wooden thing that partition that is an L shape around it, and at the end there's a gate. But whatever idiot did this had this gate where it would open inside. Well, there are these concrete things on the floor that it would just bump into.
Yeah.
So you couldn't open it, and you couldn't open it the other way. And I'm like, what an idiot. So finally I'm like, all right, today's the day. I have to take every bolt out off of every daggone it, hinge.
Yeah.
Take the latch thing off and just basically put all of that equipment on the other side.
Yeah.
So it will open outwards. And
that's probably what it was supposed to do in the first place.
It should have been, but let me tell you, it took forever. And man, it was hotter.
Human.
I had to sit down several times just to get that job done. And then, cleaning all the stuff up, raking up leaves that had been in here and there. But it sure felt good to get it done. I will have to say that.
Yeah, I've polymer sand our joints on our deck, on our porch and sidewalk. And I've got to seal it now with something that you can't put down if it's going to rain. Well,
all right, here we go, guys. Just a few seconds.
Kitchen Table, a part of the Wild Food Group, is your butcher, baker, and fish house, no matter where you live.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Happy 4th of July. Bang, bang. Hope everyone's having a good one and get ready to celebrate. Shannon Griffith from Hoosier Tailgating with us right now. And yeah, Rudy, thank you very much. I was trying to think of Draymond Green a minute ago. He's got to be the next to go off of that dynasty in Golden State. And then I was talking about Shannon, LeBron. First of all, he forces the Lakers to draft his son. Not only that, now he has a guaranteed roster contract. And that's even more of a joke. I mean, the drafting him, okay. Those draft picks that land in those last 50, they're just very hit and miss. But to give him a guaranteed roster contract, how in the hell are the Lakers getting better?
Yeah.
They're not good enough. And now this is how you get better?
Well, got to keep the big man happy, I guess, as threats to go elsewhere.
What the hell is that going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, we could go on a big rant about LeBron.
Oh, yes.
I've lost a lot of respect for him in a lot of ways over the last few years. Just some of the double-sided things that he gets caught in, whether it's China and how he was always suppressing anything bad about that. And then some of his viewpoints, it just got to the point where I turned him off, and he's getting to the point where his career is about ready to end anyway, because he's getting up there in age, but he just did a disservice to his son and that locker room. Say whatever you want, but when he takes the roster spot away from a really good player that they could have kept, there'll be some animosity in the locker room. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Well, it's a wasted spot.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well put me on there for what he's going to add to that team.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
Like I said, no matter what, draft him, see what he can do, and then send him down to the D League where he can hone his skills and maybe reach the
I
time.
don't think that with the guaranteed roster spot that is a part of the plan. But
no, I know. I mean, I wouldn't have given the guaranteed roster spot, but hey,
I'll let them worry about that.
That's right.
Think about something positive though. Indiana football, Pro Football Focus, they keep probably the best stats there are when it comes to
ratings,
football. Yep. And out of their 10 highest graded defensive transfers in college football, and everybody thinks that Indiana was getting all their transfers were coming from JMU and places of the like. Well, whether that's where they're coming from or not, it looks as though Kurt Cignetti and his staff have a plan and kind of know what they're doing, because PFF put out their 10 highest graded defensive transfers in all of college football. Number one was an edge, Inja Alston to Miami. He graded out in the 90s, but just behind in third, D'Angelo Pons, quarterback to Indiana. Down in seventh, defensive lineman CJ West. Then another defensive back, Sean Esbray, the second to Indiana, all to Indiana. The secondary linebacker core, you want to talk about really adding some big-time key pieces. Obviously, these are high-valued targets, man.
Yeah, and adding to that list in the cornerback arena, you got Doss as well. That was on their highest returning Big Ten cornerback. So, and
I mentioned, a lot of guys come over from James Madison. Don't get confused, because Pons, the number 3, he came from James Madison.
Yeah, but he was a freshman All-American, and he was wanted by everybody and anybody in the Power 5 schools. I think LSU wooed him, Georgia, Alabama. There was a lot of schools outside of Indiana that would have liked to had his talent. And the thing about him that's nice is that you've got 3 more years of his eligibility. A lot of these transfers maybe have a year, 2 at best, but you got a kid like that, it's got 3. and there's no telling what he may do in terms of how he solidifies Indiana's defense. But they get, in my mind, he gives them that lockdown corner that can be put on the best receiver, and then you worry about the 10 other offensive players with the rest of your defense. I mean, he's a out of sight, out of mind type of corner, because he can go out there and take a guy out of his game. So, yeah, they've done some good things on defense, especially that solidified themselves over the spring, but also adding the talent level they need with these guys that have come from other places besides James Madison. The CJ West kid came from a Kent State team, but they, desperately needed D lineman help, and they were able to achieve that. They solidified their secondary, and they've added some pieces to their linebacking core. So,
and these two defensive backs are these two defensive backs, I should say, listed as two of the top returning DBs in all of the Big Ten.
Yeah. And when you talk about a defense that a year ago was decimated in the secondary, then to turn around.
You mean, let's see, Illinois. What happened in the Illinois game? Oh, yeah, a backup quarterback comes in and throws for 5,000 yards against Indiana in a game that they should have won and barely lose.
Yeah, and now you've solidified it with some top-tiered players that you're going to need, that in other people's eyes, not the coach's eyes, not, anything other than the people that sit down and get these kids graded. And that's what they do. They go through a very elaborate NFL style grading aspect to their rankings and player grades. Definitely guys that they feel meet a standard that is above and beyond what the Big Ten has to offer. And I think that says a lot about what Indiana's done the second half of the spring. And I talked about it last night on my show. You take the transfer portal, you take what they've done thus far with their 2025 commits, and all you can look at that on paper, the black and white of it, is have a sense of excitement from what they're getting in recruiting, because they're beating some teams that they normally wouldn't beat head to head. And they're getting good, talented players that fit the mold of what Kurt Cignetti's looking for in a blueprint.
Yeah, and they have been extraordinarily busy on the recruiting side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Basically every day there has been a new commitment for Indiana football. And again, you can tell that in the past, when there had been a lot of what you call mid-major guys, they were on the recruitment side only, and Indiana was kind of the step up.
Right.
I think that, not that that's going to end entirely, but I think that that's about to be a thing of the past, because winning is all that these guys is what they care about most. I mean, yeah, there's the NFL aspect of it, but if you're winning, if Indiana's winning, they're in the Big Ten, man. They play Ohio State and Michigan and UCLA and Nebraska and Washington. So if they're winning, they'll stay. And the recruiting is only going to get better. They will start getting, like, they just lost the Burris kid out of Indianapolis to Louisville. A tough battle. And but now I think that battle's not over. He's committed. Guess what? What's a commitment mean? Nothing. Jack squat.
Not right now.
That's why Juju Lewis commits to USC and then takes all these official visits. So a commitment it means nothing, to be honest with you. I don't understand it, to be truthful. Why, if you're going to take visits, why give a commitment to someplace else? Why? Because I don't think they're understanding what a commitment means. You're making a commitment. You're not making a commitment if you're going off. That's like saying, "Oh, yeah, honey, we're in a relationship, but I'm going to check out these other 5 girls to make sure that that you're the cream of the crop." How do you think that would go over?
Yeah, I don't think that would work all too well, but you're exactly right in your explanation of it. Yeah, it's one-sided in the sense that an institution, school may accept that commitment and hold a spot for that individual. But from the kid's perspective, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, they could commit to you and tomorrow commit to somebody else, and they don't suffer any consequences for it. And this is what I was referencing. I think last time when we talked about the necessity to have a early signing period, not in December, but right before camp starts, almost in August into July, so that you can lock up these kids and not let them sit out there and look at other places, because you've got to carry them all the way to December. So that's the tough battle, is keeping your commitments in the wagon, because they will be bombarded still by other institutions trying to get them away. And like you said with Burris, that battle's not over. The Chandler kid out of Lawrence North.
I've got to say, I was a little surprised that he chose Louisville over
I was
Indiana,
too,
with the momentum that they're having. And I'm like, man, that's not Jeff Brom's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. But another thing is they're playing in the ACC. The ACC football, it just didn't. There's not a lot there. But
well,
we'll
it's, Jeff Brom's relatively still new there. He's still trying to build a program, so kind of like Kurt Signetti is. And that was a tough loss. I mean, that's the one they have to win. But you're going to lose some of those battles, and that's okay. You can't worry about the ones that get away. You got to focus on the ones that you've got or can get, and keep on moving forward. Like they got, I think the Miles Kendrick kid was their last commit, the wide receiver out of Jacksonville, Florida, Riverside. Good, solid player. But you're right when it comes to a kid that is, let's say, a 3-star in theory, and there's going to be a little bit of projection with some of these kids. But the best thing about today's recruiting is you can find, if you make a mistake in recruiting, you can find a replacement for that mistake in the portal nowadays, and not hurt your depth at a position. That's the nice thing about recruiting in today's world with the portal aspect of things. So everything's changed. I hope they do find an early signing period so the coaches can worry about football in the fall and the kids can worry about football their senior year, and they don't have to worry about carrying them all the way to December. That would be the unique thing to do. I think you'll see that. I think that will be coming with some of the other changes that are on the horizon. But until then, that commitment is not worth a lot other than someone's word that you're going to trust.
Yeah, and for all the people who early on just saw this as a kind of a mid-major rebuild, don't forget James Madison was ranked in the top 25.
Oh yeah, yep. They were ranked in the top 25, and I think they beat Virginia pretty soundly last year, who, middle to lower part of the ACC, but you're still getting a team that in theory is taking a step up to take on a Power 5 institution, and they beat them handedly. It's a pretty good sign that there were some pretty good ball players at James Madison that Kurt Signetti had inherited and as well as recruited. And that's the nice thing about it, that he brings to the table. And, one other thing, and I don't want to ramble, but the one thing that I've been impressed with Coach Signetti when it comes to the transfer portal, he has stuck to the idea and his theory. He's only going to take kids that he knows has a body of work at the college level and he can evaluate them. There are no guys that he bought from this transfer portal that were also rans at Alabama and Georgia, in theory. Not to say that those kids are not capable, but that tells you with some of the transfers that he's got, including the James Madison kids, they're pretty darn good football, but not just in the eyes of Coach Signetti, in the eyes of other people on the outside, especially like the PFF. So he stuck to his guns and what he said he's going to do, and that's how he builds a program, and he knows how to do it, and he's following his blueprint. So you got to be excited and commend him for what he's done and his staff's done since they got here back in December, but more importantly, throughout the spring and summer.
And he wins. If you don't believe me, Google him.
Yeah, that's right. You can Google him and find out how he wins. There's no question about it. And he does a great job of everything that he's done thus far. And their camps, I think, have been pretty successful too. They're one-a-days. They've had a lot of kids on campus. They focused on the 25 kids. They offered the ones that they needed to see in person. But the more importantly, those 26 and 27s that are out there and their turn is coming up shortly, they've got a lot of in-person evaluation on kids throughout the state of Indiana, but mostly the kids that are within that 2 to 3 hour radius, which is going to, catapult them into the next year's recruiting class, because they have 18 commits in the 25 class right now, I believe. I would say they're probably close to being done with 25s in terms of their whatever they're going to bring in. And their focus now is the 26 kids. So to be done or 85%, 90% done with your class of 25, I think you're on the right track.
Well, they're still going at it. Speaking of 25, while they have been very, very active in this, wide receiver? Yeah. From Riverdale Baptist in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Gianni Contosis is a 3-star that Indiana is going after. He's a top 100 receiver in the country per Rivals. And he set his commitment date for July 27th. Indiana, one of 4 finalist teams in this, along with Cincinnati, Maryland, and the Volunteers. So that's another thing. Indiana is in great company with a lot of these guys that they're looking at. Cincinnati's a more than solid program, but Maryland has been winning, and of course Tennessee over in the SEC. But this is going to be interesting to see if beating a team like Tennessee and Maryland, that's another feather in the cap, man, if they can do that.
Especially a Maryland kid, because Maryland right now has reestablished themselves as the top dog in that area of Virginia and DC area recruiting. In Maryland, it's proper. And if Indiana go there and take one out, that would be a huge get from Loxley down there, because he's done a heck of a job of reestablishing Maryland in that area.
What's up next for you, brother?
Man, today we're going to enjoy it. So I hope everybody has a safe and happy 4th, no matter where you're at, safe travels and all, but really start working now of breaking down the schedule of Indiana and who they're playing and what to look for, as well as evaluating the depth chart prior to camp. And I've got the 25th down on my calendar, so I may be able to make it down there for the Big Ten media days.
3
so I'll talk
weeks
to you
away,
about that.
my friend. 3 weeks away, and we will be at Lucas Oil Stadium bringing all of that action to you. Appreciate you, my friends.
All right. I'll hit you up about that.
No
Thank you.
worries.
Have a good
Coach
one.
Griffith's joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio as he does each and every week. Brought to you by our friends at the Rusty Gator, where oceanic flavors meet Southern charm. Nestled right in the heart of Bedford, Indiana, their seafood restaurant is a haven for those who crave the freshest catches of the sea in a laid-back and inviting atmosphere. What sets them apart, their reputation precedes them, and they're proud to be known for an array of signature dishes that have come to become favorites among some of the locals as well as visitors alike. Make sure you stop by and visit the Rusty Gator in Bedford. Bob, speaking of Rusty, Bob Kravitz joins us next from bobkravitz.com right after this.
We'll be right back for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
If you're looking for a home...
Rusty.
Hello, Rusty. Hello, Rusty.
How are you, buddy?
I am fine. How are you, sir?
Why are you working today?
I never know. I'm like a groundhog or a mole. My head is just always down, and then I run into something, and I look up. I'm like, oh shit, it's Christmas, or oh my God, it's Thanksgiving, and I'm just not used to having. I'm not used to having the ability to take off, for one,
Right.
and then which I actually could have today, but I hate to. It's not. Is everybody off today?
Well, I don't have a real job, so I don't know. My wife is off. She's got a real job.
Well, that means everybody's watching us, Bob.
Yeah, that's
listening.
It's perfect. Hey, can we keep it a little bit shorter than usual?
No, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I got a tea time here in a little while.
Of course you do. Prairie View.
Prairie View.
What time do you need to leave?
I can give you 15 minutes.
I played the other day, 9. Started out like normal, 12 on the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able just to put the phone down. It's late in the day. I'm like, all right. The day before the Trent Sisley stuff broke, while I was trying to do that, and just wrecks my day.
Yeah.
But so all right, nothing came through. It was great. So I ended up parring 4 holes in a row.
Good for you.
Which was it's not good for my handicap.
Yeah. Well,
20. I had of what my score was. 24 strokes are on the first 2 and the last 2 holes.
Wow. Yeah,
ended up with a 46, I believe.
I had 5 straight rounds under 90 and my handicap went down, but yesterday I exploded. So hopefully it'll get it back moving north.
Oh, we got several Olympians coming up, Bob. What do you let's see. What did I just see?
Here, I'll go ahead and bring us back in. That's okay. About 20 seconds.
24 Honda Pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door.
This segment is brought to you by Freethink Apparel. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday, 4th of July. Happy. I hope you got the snakes and sparklers. You got the good stuff. Bob Kravitz from bobkravitz.com joining us now. Speaking of sparklers and snakes, do you have the good stuff, Bob? Sparklers and snakes?
Excuse me. Pardon me, Jim.
Not a problem. That I know it choked.
That's a morning voice right
question.
there. That's a morning voice.
Yeah, we got to get that.
I am not a fireworks guy at all. All my neighbors.
But you had kids a long time ago, so you had to deal with it. At some
sparklers. But we didn't.
No
go
snakes.
No
snakes. So you didn't have the good stuff, man.
I did the good stuff. Where I grew up, it wasn't that big of a deal. When I moved to the Midwest, I was like, holy
Did you
crap.
grow up Poland?
Huh?
Where'd you grow up in Poland?
No, in New York. It just wasn't that big, it seemed like.
New Yorkers, what are you gonna do?
What are you going to
The good stuff. That comes from Joe Dirt.
do? Oh, the good stuff. Okay.
You ever watch Joe Dirt? You ever seen that movie?
I have. I forgot that line. But like last
It's the guy
night,
that's sitting on the side of the road selling the fireworks, the Indian.
Yeah.
Supposed to be Native American. That's what he only sold sparklers and snakes, the good stuff as he called it, because they were his favorites.
Yeah, we have plenty of neighbors who keep us jumping the last couple of nights, and I'm sure tonight will be pretty interesting. But yeah, last night my poor dog was freaking the hell out.
Yeah, with or without the scooter stick, screaming memes. How many hot dogs could you eat in a sitting?
In a sitting, I would say maybe 3 or 4.
Oh wow. Yeah,
What's your number?
I could probably do that back, not now, but when I was eating, maybe.
So wait, is Joey Chestnut doing the thing today?
Not allowed. He was unceremoniously uninvited because
Banished.
he is a representative of another hot dog brand, an all-natural hot dog brand. So the
Veggie Dog, I think.
the Adidas people out.
That's wild. I think I'm speaking for everybody here when I say the Nathan's 4th of July hot dog eating contest is not the same without Joey Chestnut.
It's like the NCAA. It's something stupid that they would do.
Excuse me. I'm sorry,
Cheryl Sizemore listening in from Dale Hollow Lake, as I was talking about that a minute ago, all that down in Kentucky, the two big old lakes, Lake Kentucky or Lake Barkley. Well, wait a minute. You got Dale Hollow, Lake Barkley, and Kentucky Lake. I'm confused. I'm confusing myself. Brian says, free Joey. And I think the other guy, Kobayashi, is not participating either, is he?
Right. Kobayashi got banished quite some time ago. I don't know what the story was behind that, but apparently they're going to face off, the two of them
in the fall.
And I guess they're eating like veggie dogs or something.
The all natural, whatever that stuff is. But how you like my red, white, and blue today, man?
Your red, white, and blue. You mean, your hat?
No, red, white, and blue.
Oh yeah, definitely white.
Man, boy, you're on it today, brother. For those of you that can't see,
you need to get out, man. You're a little pale.
Well, that's because I work too damn much. Although
I know.
yesterday,
I don't have that. I don't have that problem.
Well, I wish I did. I made myself stop yesterday or after 5 sometime, and then decided that I needed to do. There was some outside work that needed done, and so I decided today's the day, and that about killed me, and I'm not kidding.
I was out playing golf late yesterday afternoon, and we were melting.
Yeah, it was. I'm surprised you could make it through that because it was just a hot one.
It wasn't a 7-hour round, so that helped.
Robert P says he's going to unleash a bottle rocket barrage in the hood tonight.
Well, I hope you're not in my hood.
I don't think it matters where you are that you will not be spared.
No, we're going to catch some of the Conner Prairie stuff tonight. We live up there, so that'll be fun. It'll be a great night. We're hanging out with our friends who are from South Africa, and boy, you talk about patriotic. We sit there and we're like complaining and bitching and moaning about how screwed up the United States is right now. And they are so appreciative of all the things that America has brought to their lives. It's really a cool scene. It's cool to see them celebrate America when they're not from here.
Most people are, except for jackasses, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, except for the bad people.
And those jackasses are usually the minority in things, whether it's an opinion or I'm not talking about nationalities. I'm talking about opinions, beliefs. And it's like and I'm not getting into politics, but every single minority, a little group, thinks that they are just as important or as what the majority thinks. And no, that's just not how it works. That's not real.
How do I respond to that? I think our country was built on immigrants, and I think we need to.
Oh yeah, I don't mean immigrants. I'm just talking about opinions. People that have.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I got you.
I think this, and it could be crazier than can believe, but they want the same that a preponderance of the majority of people believe the opposite, and they think that those should carry the same weight. Okay. It doesn't work, man.
No, it does not. It does not.
See, what did I just see from you? Your piece.
Oh, I wrote about my Olympic experiences.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of a 2-part series. Yesterday, I wrote about my first 7 Olympic Games and just kind of fun and I hope funny experiences. I only wrote about the ones that wouldn't get my wife pissed off at me. And the other 6 will run either today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow because everybody's busy with July 4th.
That's a lot of Olympics, man.
13 Olympics. 13
Wow.
Olympics. 7 summer, 6 winter. It is the hardest, most satisfying job in sports journalism. I mean, I can't explain to you how physically and mentally taxing it is. And by about halfway through the Olympics, you're just thinking, I will never do this again. And then, stuff starts happening. You got track and field. All this great stuff is happening toward the end of the Olympics, the marathon. And you're like, yeah, I could do this again, but not me. I've had too many issues. So I'm not, I'm done with the Olympics unless they have it in Noblesville.
I hear you, brother. It's I would love to experience the Olympics. I would have loved to have gone. Did you go to the one that was in Rome or Greece? Wherever it was?
Athens, yes.
Athens.
Yeah, Athens. That was, you get up in the morning, you got a few minutes, you go check out the Parthenon and the Acropolis and all that cool stuff, and then go and work for 12, 15 hours. So it's a young person's endeavor. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Those are deals that just require a lot of footwork, baby.
A lot of footwork. You are constantly walking and on buses and waiting in mixed zones. They have areas called mixed zones. They don't really have them in the U.S. And it's like a cordoned off area where, the athletes come out and talk to the media, but it is a total bleep show. And trying to get quotes from athletes, you have to elbow people, and it's not very civilized.
Got to open up some space, baby. Clear
Exactly.
the lane. Clear the lane. Speaking of Olympics, a lot of Olympians coming from Indiana University. I think the state of Indiana has the most swimmers of any state in the country.
Incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
You can thank Carmel, you can thank IU, but the athletes of Indiana and around, it's wild. Not just a basketball state, apparently.
No, and we're like we're the biggest city in America that is not built on a body of water. Oh, my phone is ringing. That's not good. Hang on a second.
Yeah. The White River does not exactly count as a big waterway where you're going to see barges and whatnot coming through it. It's not meant for traffic of that sort. So most large cities in this country are built on a large, right off of a large body of water. Right below Louisville is on the Ohio River, which connects to Cincinnati and beyond, and it goes out to St. Louis. All of these, and then go down the Mississippi and look at all the big time cities that are there and whatnot. But but Indianapolis is a sports mecca.
It truly is.
I mean, I know this is biased, but to me, it is the best sports city in America because it is the most diverse. It has so many different things, whether we're talking about swimming and all of it that is produced that way, Carmel High School in that regard. Then you've got the NCAA, the Pan American Games, USA Olympics or gymnastics. There's and other things that I haven't even mentioned.
And then they have the swimming down there at Lucas Oil, which they're going to come back apparently in 28. That was a rousing success. Now, I did not go down there, but I heard they had over 20,000 every night to watch swimming in a football arena, and that's crazy. I mean, just think of the logistics involved to get pools erected on in a football stadium. It was amazing. And I mean, and look at all the IU swimmers, the Purdue divers. Although Badiah and Steele Johnson, I don't think are there anymore, but they still got some good people. It's amazing what this state has produced over the years, and especially in this Olympics.
Yeah, and looking forward to this Olympics as it comes to you from Paris, France. That would be a cool one to go to.
That would be a cool one if I was in my 40s.
Yep, I hear you.
But I'm not in my 40s.
We've still got basketball coming up, Bob, and a lot of it, to be honest with you, in this month of July. Next week, the 9th, it's Tuesday, the 3 SSB Adidas championships start down in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Indiana Elite is one of the favorites in that. They are undefeated with Trent Sisley, Braylon Mullins, Malachi Moreno, Des Bryant, Mark Zachary, just a great team that Mike Fox has there. And they're one of the favorites to win that here in this past week. Big news regarding Trent Sisley. He is going to spend his senior season at Montverde Academy down in outside of Orlando, which there were some mixed feelings by people. But the thing that I have tried and I've said over and over all week is this is the best move for him. Playing at Heritage Hills, and people don't get it. Having to play center, not his position, and get double and triple teamed every night by Tell City and Corridon and South Spencer and teams like that is not doing diddly squat for him. But going to Montverde and playing against, it won't be there next year, but like the Cooper Flags of the world, that is a gigantic difference, and that will make you better. I don't care if people think that or not.
Yeah, we've seen guys, consistently come from Montverde and those type schools. You saw, Zach Eady coming from IMG, the academy. No, it's definitely advantageous for Sisley to go down to Montverde. No question about it. He'll become a better player, and I look forward to what he does in the future.
Well, brother, you should go out and play some golf today.
I'm going to go play some golf today.
I like it. Go
enjoy yourself. Happy 4th of July to you, my friend.
Happy 4th of July to you. Hit them straight and along, my brother.
All right. We'll stay out of the way of those fireworks.
Bob Kravitz from bobkravitz.com. Make sure you're subscribing there and tuning in because the content is all around, whether it's Indiana, Purdue, Pacers, Fever, Colts. He's got it all. Olympics. He covers everything. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by Free Think Apparel and Promotions, whether it's 20 T-shirts for the reunion or 200 for a baseball or softball league. Free Think has your printing needs covered. Their team of industry experts work with you to design a professional-looking, sales-generating web store for your custom-designed apparel or promotional merchandise. Whether it's a large corporation, high school sports team, Doesn't matter. Freethink Apparel delivers no matter where you are. Visit freethinkapparel.com today and get pretty. We're back with more after this.
We'll be right back for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
In the market, I don't know why Bob always sits there
what?
until I don't know why Bob always sits there until I'm done talking, and then he
maybe he just thinks it's because of the break or something. I don't know, like the way when it actually cuts. I don't know. Anyway, is Cupps 950?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Supposed to be. Checking to see if you saw this. Checking to see if you saw this. Question mark. Question mark.
Snakes and sparklers.
I have the good stuff. Snakes and sparklers. They're my favorite. It's not about you. It's about the consumer. So you're going to stand there and tell me you've got no whistling bunghole, screaming memes. I don't know how the hell he remembered all that stuff. Gabe's on.
Cool. We will see him shortly.
Shut up, ba-dump.
Everybody in the chat's talking about Las Vegas. Where'd that come from?
What's going on in Las? Oh,
they're talking about the population.
Well, it is the fastest growing city in America, I believe, and has been for a long time.
That's odd. I need to get out west sometime. I haven't been.
It's odd because
west I've been. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it's odd because other than Las Vegas, you know how most towns, even when you get outside of town, there's just small stuff.
Yeah.
There ain't dick. It's a desert, and boom. Seriously, these two gangsters created Las Vegas, Bugsy Siegel, and I forget the other guy, way back in maybe the 30s for gambling reasons, and then that's where it came from.
All right, here we go, guys. I say guys like there's somebody other than us two in here, but you know.
Available with scenic views of the golf course. Contact Amy Rhoda with Rebesco Real Estate for additional information. 812-583-0919 or go to mystonecrestliving.com. That's mystonecrestliving.com for more details. This segment is brought to you by the Fresh Fork in Bloomington. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Fireworks Thursday. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Appreciate you being with us, as always. Let's see, what was I just getting ready to talk about? Yeah, the hot dog eating contest coming up later today, although it seems like there's going to be some stormage here in the immediate area. I can hear it rumbling out there. Heavy thunderstorms, high in the low 80s and low in the 70s. So 100% chance. So yeah, my ears are not deceiving me. Just trying to pull the radar up, but yeah, I can hear it rumbling out there. So great day to stay in. Hopefully it clears up for the fireworks tonight for whomever is having that. We shall see. Gabe Cupps joining us up here in a little bit, so make sure you stay tuned. And oh yeah, there it is. Ho, 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 ho. Yikes. Oh man, it's gonna skirt us. I think we're gonna get it for a few hours, it looks like. Pretty good front moving through, but that's okay. That will be relaxing. Let's see. What was I talking about? In college basketball, Indiana has added another non-con game yesterday. It came out that piece of their non-con schedule. UNC Greensboro will be visiting Simon Scott Assembly Hall as part of its non-conference schedule. That is set for November 21st in Bloomington. So as that little bitty pieces come out. Also, another bit of information yesterday, Adam Howard, who has been with the program for a while, has been moved up in a position. Mike Woodson announced the addition of Adam to become the program's Assistant Director of Recruiting and Operations. The readout reads as if he just got there and he's been there for a while. So, but it says that Adam comes from a great basketball pedigree. His father, Todd, is a legendary coach in the state of Indiana. He's been a great asset for Indiana in recruiting, and they are excited to keep him on staff as they continue to push this program further. Adam does a lot of work. I do know that. He is kind of like one of the guys behind the scenes, and he is going to be a good recruiter one day. He's recruiting now in essence, but he serves as the president of the men's basketball operations for Grow the Game, which is a manager-run organization helping the next generation of coaches build genuine relationships and advance in their careers. As part of his duties, Howard fundraises for and hosts the Grow the Game Zoom series, which has hosted coaches of all levels and positions in the game of basketball. So he's a busy dude, man. He was named the National Student Manager of the Year in 2022. The NCAA Final Four in New Orleans NCAA Final Four in New Orleans by the Grow the Game manager community. He was invited to the third annual Top Connect Leadership Academy hosted by Rob Eshon. The GA Leadership Academy consists of 22 high-achieving grad assistants across the country. So congratulations to him. Good for Indiana to have someone like that who is so diligent on staff. And let me tell you, he's one of those guys that works his butt off. That's what you have to do as a young coach. And that's what he is, basically, a young coach, whether it's recruiting or whatever. But those are hard jobs, people. You're making your bones, and it doesn't come quick, not as quick as it does for others most of the time. So congratulations to Adam, and we'll talk to Gabe about Adam and what he has meant to someone like him along the way. So you got that going for you, which is nice. And looking forward to talking to Gabe coming up here in a little bit as well. Also, let's see, ESPN or Dick Vitale kind of had a recurrence of his cancer. If you've seen, follow that along. Hopefully he's still battling that, and he seems to be very positive. So hopefully he will come through that with flying colors, and hopefully we'll hear him back on the on college basketball at some point this season. I know he has fought hard for that to get past that. So congratulations to his fight that has been successful though so far. Kalen DeBoer, everyone questioned whether or not he was going to be how successful he could be following Nick Saban at Alabama. And I've said it all along. He's not going to have a problem. If they pick the right guy, Kalen DeBoer does not get jacked up. He is not. And if you think back about Nick Saban, he was always pretty calm on the sideline unless he was pissed. Other than that, he's not getting jacked up, running up, jumping up and down and doing things like that. He's in the moment. He's in the game. He's ahead of the moment, to be honest with you. But Kalen DeBoer is the same. He reminds me of exactly the same. And their recruiting has been rolling along as you would expect. But Alabama just beat out Ohio State, Oregon, and USC to secure a pledge from 4-star outside linebacker Justin Hill. That was yesterday. So they're still winning the big the big races. And it's going to be interesting, but I look forward to seeing what Kalen and Alabama get done this year. So you've got that going for you, which is nice. So football's not that far away, man. Like I said, today's the 4th, 1, 2, 3 weeks exactly from today is Indiana's day at Big Ten Football Media Days. That is the 3rd and final day, which this year it runs the 23rd, 4th, and 5th at Lucas Oil Stadium. And because of the addition of the 4 new teams, UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington, most of those coaches, UCLA, Washington, brand new coach, Oregon, I'm not sure how long their coach has been there currently, but of course, you've got Lincoln Riley at USC. So that'll be new for us to get to hear him talk about. Justin says that Gabe Cupps worked out with LeBron. Ohio fellas, love to hear his comments about that situation. He's also good friends with Reed Sheppard. I know that they are really good friends. So I have to ask him about that. As Reed Sheppard selected number 3 overall in this year's draft, NBA draft.
Yep, to the Houston Rockets.
Very shocked.
The first college player in the draft, because the first 2 are both Frenchmen.
That's amazing. This because I say that, John, because Reed Sheppard at the start of the season, I don't think he was on anybody's draft boards.
No, he was seen really as probably, because obviously Kentucky was known for bringing in boatloads of McDonald's All-Americans every year. He was kind of at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to expectations from that group of freshmen. And fun fact, one of Kentucky's, one of those star freshmen, Justin Edwards, he was a top 3 recruit. I believe he became the first top 3 recruit in history to not be taken in any round of the NBA draft. He was left off.
Say that again.
So Justin Edwards, who was ranked in the top 3, I don't know if it was a composite rankings or if it was based on one specific area, but Justin Edwards was not drafted, and he, I believe, became the first player ranked in the top 3, their high school rankings, to not get drafted in an NBA draft.
So he wasn't drafted in either round?
No.
Wow. Something went askew there.
And another thing too, Reed Sheppard with Kentucky, he wasn't even a regular starter with the Wildcats. Like he found himself in the starting lineup
toward the end.
Yeah, but it was still one of those things where Reed Sheppard was always, I don't want to say he was undervalued. It was honestly, it was very suspicious to fans and really just anybody who watched Kentucky play that there may have been some under the table deals about playing time that may have kept Reed Sheppard from getting the minutes that he actually deserved because he wasn't as highly touted coming out of high school.
Yeah, well, he was touted, but he wasn't this.
He was a fringe 4 or 5 star coming out of high school.
Yeah. He wasn't one of these guys that the normal guys that Calipari would get into Kentucky that you knew were going to be that you were pretty confident, I should say, were going to be. I mean,
honestly, he was probably only prioritized because of his connection to Jeff Sheppard. He probably, I don't want to guarantee this, but it would not surprise me. And
well, I'll tell you this: Indiana wanted him.
Yeah, of course, but I don't think he would have been a shoo-in for Kentucky had he not had the relationship with his family with the university.
I don't know.
He still could have ended up there.
I know what you're saying, but I think he was good enough that he definitely would have gotten the offer.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you consider him being an in-state guy for them.
Yeah, and he was, and because Kentucky doesn't produce an abundance of high-level talent. And so that's not that often that they can pull in talent like that from within the state. So there's that. But yeah, we've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We'll get to it as Gabe Cupps from Indiana Basketball will join us next here. Brought to you by the Ugly Grouper down on beautiful Anna Maria Island, Florida. Whether you're already in the area or heading that way, the Ugly Grouper Has everything you'd want with your favorite craft beers, cocktails, live music every day, great food, including locally sourced seafood. It's family friendly, able to host private parties, and has the biggest grouper you've ever seen. The Ugly Grouper is the place to be on Anna Maria Island, Florida. Tell them Indiana Sports Beat Radio sent you. Go to theuglygrouper.com for more information. We're back with more, including Gabe Cupps, right after this.
We'll be right back for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Formerly. Good morning, sir.
What's up? How are you?
Really good, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You've been to the Ugly Grouper, huh?
I have. It's a good spot.
Mike's down there right now.
I wish I was too.
You and me both, brother. I've never gotten to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you mind turning your phone sideways?
Hold on.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I have never been. How's your summer going, man?
It's been really good. Yeah, just been working out, getting with the guys. Really liking how the teams come together this year.
That sounds great. It's been a nonstop year. It seems like nothing has come to an end.
Yeah,
for us or for you guys or for everybody.
Yeah, very continuous.
But that's a good thing, I guess. It makes the time go by. There's no doubt about that. How's your mom and dad doing?
They're doing well. Yep. Dad coaching AAU still this year, so that's kept him busy during the summer.
Who does he coach?
Still Midwest Basketball Club, same one that I played on.
What else is new with you? You got to do anything fun?
I went to the draft for Reed.
Oh, you did go.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool just to experience that and see that moment happen for him and his family.
Yeah, you guys are tight.
Yeah.
How long did you say, John?
We were over a minute. Now we're at 45.
Okay. Yeah, someone says you need a red Solo Cup NIL deal.
Yeah, I just have one shirt right now that has a cup on it. But
I've already been thinking of I've got an idea.
All right, here we go,
I've got
guys.
a couple ideas. The pilots, HRVs, CRVs, Honda Ridgelines, payment free for 90 days. Or get 0.9% APR financing for 36 months on a 2023 Honda Ridgeline. Go to AndyMooreHonda.com and get more to your door.
This segment is brought to you by Hoosier Hanks East. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Happy 4th of July. And to get the fireworks going, we've got Gabe Cupps with us, member of the Indiana University basketball program. Gabe, thank you so much for your time.
yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Of course, brought to you by Hoosier Hanks East. You spent some time over to Hoosier Hanks East off the College Mall Road. Great pizzas, subs, all kinds of good food there. How's your summer been so far, Gabe?
It's been really good. Gotten a lot better. Gotten with the guys. Just been in the gym working out, getting better, coming together. It's been really good.
A huge difference this year. Last year, it seems like the team wasn't as deep as what a lot of us thought it was going to be. Injuries came apart. You got thrust into a role that you didn't see coming probably, but you handled that mentally very, very, very well. How much of a good experience was having to go through that for you going forward?
Yeah, I think it was super important, for me individually, just because kind of getting thrown in the fire and just having to go at it and just try things. I definitely didn't play as well as I wanted to last year, and I think that also motivated me to get a lot better throughout the summer and this off season too.
And the roster this year, a great abundance of additions. It's going to be a different season because it seems like every position is deep this year. So practice alone is going to be, I would imagine, great because, as they say, iron sharpens iron. So everybody is going to be going against somebody every day that is trying to win minutes, that is working to play. So that is only going to make the team better, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody on our team can play, so it's just making it that much more competitive in practices. And I think Coach Woodson likes having a deeper team with how he subs too. So I think that can also help us in games as well.
You've got a couple of new guards in Carlisle and Rice that have transferred in. What has it been like seeing those guys play and playing with them?
Yeah, it's been great. Having guys on the floor that can, create stuff for themselves and for other guys it makes it easier on everybody else. So I mean, they're great dudes, so that makes it a lot easier, to be teammates with them.
And then we've got a couple of guys that we haven't seen. Bryson Tucker, of course, is a freshman, but Ja'Kai Newton is almost a freshman because we've just never seen him play. And I know he has been itching to get at it for a while. What's it been like seeing him finally get cut loose?
Yeah, it's been great. I'm super happy for Ja'Kai. He just loves the game, and he's been wanting to play for forever now. So I'm really happy for him, and he's got a chance to be really good too, just because of how much he loves it.
What is his game? What does he bring? What is his go-to? Is it his shooting? Is it his ability to get to the rim, defending? What is it about Ja'Kai?
Yeah, I would say the best thing he does is defending and then getting to the rim. He's super athletic, long wingspan, like quick, can stay in front of guys, block shots at the rim, and then get in, push it in transition too. But he also has a good mind for the game. He's been studying, film and stuff like that, not being able to play these last few years. So I think that's been really good for him too.
And then, of course, I mentioned Bryson Tucker, the freshman. Same thing about him. What does he bring to the team?
Yeah, Tuck is very good in the mid range. He gets to his pull up and he doesn't miss it very often. He's also a really good defender, super athletic, crashes the boards really well. So, all of the guys that are new have brought really good things to our team.
Now, I understand are you in charge? Like when you guys work out, do you have to guard Umar Ballo?
Sometimes I get switched on to him and it's a fight down there. But.
Oh, I cannot imagine what that's like. I mean, my God, he's 7 foot, 300 pounds. It's like trying to move a house.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to move him even an inch. So, it's been really good. He's done well, and he's a big dude.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to watching him play because like I said, it's like moving a house, man. He doesn't have to try to do a lot of things. He does what he does, it seems like, which is going to be a constant presence for the Hoosiers this year on offense and defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's Philip asking this? And I'd planned on it anyway, but so who's the team comedian? Who's the class clown amongst you guys?
I would say Malik is probably up there. He's always cracking jokes. He's pretty funny.
You think that's partly because of his experience? He's been around one of the longer guys that's been here besides Leo and Gallo.
Yeah, I would say he feels pretty comfortable, being around the guys and the coaches. So, it wouldn't, some of the stuff he says wouldn't be something that, somebody brand new would say, just because they don't know if it's all right or not.
Is he still eating that burger? Maybe that's what keeps him so happy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man. Your dad, you come from a family where your dad is a coach. He coaches AAU. You told me in the break he's still coaching the summer, the Midwest basketball program where you came from. How important was it playing under or living with and playing for a coach? Or
Yeah,
your dad being a coach?
Yeah, it was super important for me just because it was always basketball. Like no matter what, we were watching, talking, thinking about basketball. So, I think that grew my mind for the game and also my love for it. It's just something that I've always been around, so I don't really know anything else but playing basketball.
Does it give, I don't want to say an advantage, but does it give you an advantage when you're not in the game and you're sitting on the bench and watching that you're able to look at, pick out, find things that you can see that you didn't see while you were on the court?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest things when you're not in the game, you're trying to think about, what you can do better and what you can do differently when you get back in there. So, I think watching a bunch of games from my dad's bench growing up obviously helped me with that, but you're always trying to think about what you can do next and what you can do better.
Coaching in your future?
I don't know, maybe. That's what everybody says.
Yeah, we've got a while for that, but just thought I'd throw that in there. So what are you, now that this team is, everybody's in town. Oh, you got Hatton, another big guy that joined the team that brings some different tools. He's not your typical big guy. He's not Umar Ballo. He can step out and shoot the ball. So what's been like the differences between him and Ballo?
Yeah, exactly what you said. I think LT can step out and shoot it, and he has a different game as a big around the rim. He uses a lot more shot fakes, while Ballo's just trying to be super physical. But yeah, I think both of those guys are really good passers, and I think that's an underrated aspect of their game. But I've gotten really close with LT too, off the court, so it's been good to just get to know him as a person too.
And speaking of, just talked about Umar Ballo and I just talked about Lance Hatton, and then but you got to throw in Malik Renew in there. He's still big, but those are all three completely different type of players.
Yeah, I would say Malik is almost like a mixture of both of them, being able to step out and shoot it, but then also being able to be really physical around the rim. Malik's a really good passer too, so those guys go at it every day. So it's been really good to see him practice.
And even though you're not from the state of Indiana, you seem to have this aura of being an Indiana type kid. It's probably part of it's probably being a coach's son, but there's so much talked about culture. And Indiana is one of those programs that has that built in. It's, when you're a 5-time national champion and all of that, culture is there. What is it like playing for a program that has the status that Indiana does, whether they're winning or not? That status does not go away.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and it can be tough at sometimes too. There's definitely pressure to perform and pressure to win, just because you're out of school where it's expected of you, and that's a really good thing too, to have those expectations. You should want to have expectations that you're supposed to win, you're supposed to do well. So I think it can go both ways, but I try to always look at it as a positive.
Adam Howard just got a promotion, but he's been with the program for a while, and I know that he works extraordinarily hard. As a young coach, that's what you have to do. And when I say work hard, I don't think that people quite get it. I know, because in our business we do the same, but he works extraordinarily hard. He has a lot of roles, wears a lot of hats, he deals with you guys a lot. What is someone like that means to the program?
Yeah, I've gotten really close with Adam. Whether it's on the court or off the court, just talking to him about life, he's provided somebody to me that I can go and talk to. And he also, he's always on the job, no matter where he's at. He's trying to, help the team in whatever way he can. And I think that's something I really look up to him for.
Now, do you guys have your own rooms where you live now? You don't have to room with anyone?
Yeah, so we have like an apartment, but we each have our separate rooms in the apartment. So it's me and Jakai, and then one of the managers that live in our unit.
So you don't have to worry about Jakai snoring or anything like that.
No, I can't hear him. He's all the way across the room.
I'm not suggesting that he does. I'm just saying, if for all of you that went to college and stayed in the dorms, that can be no fun. You also told me that you got the chance to go to New York for the NBA draft, which I didn't know that. I saw Xavier Johnson there. He's going to be with us tomorrow, but that had to be an unbelievable experience. I know you're very, very tight with former Kentucky player Reed Sheppard. And what we were just talking about, what a shocking or surprising story to become the number 3 draft pick when he probably was not on anyone's draft boards at the start of the season. But man, you want to talk about a meteoric rise. He did it.
Yeah. I'm super happy for Reed. I'm glad I was able to be there in New York to support him. But just being at the draft was really cool. And, I think it motivated me to, want that feeling for myself too and my family. But I couldn't be more happy for Reed.
What was that experience like? What are some of the things that you didn't expect that you got to experience?
I didn't really understand like how the draft operated. I'd just seen it on TV, obviously. And, when you're watching it on TV, it's just pick, commercial. But being there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. And I didn't realize how many people are there too.
Where was it held? Was it at the Barclays
at the Barclays Center?
Yeah, I mean, it's become must-see TV. They've turned it into a product.
Yeah.
The NFL does the same, but with there only being 2 rounds of the NBA draft, it's a little more concise. And but yeah, there was a pretty large Indiana contingent there then.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, especially and to see Khalil there too, and to see him get drafted was awesome too. But I think Reed and Khalil both got really good spots to go to and perform and be successful at.
Yeah, Khalil seems like he landed in a great spot at Miami, and he seems very focused on this next level.
Yeah, I think Khalil will do really well. He's obviously got the skills, but it's just whether he'll work hard or not, and I think he will. He sees this as an opportunity to better himself and to better his family. So I think he'll be motivated and work really hard, and I think the Heat organization is a great spot for him.
Absolutely. Do you work outside of the team? Do you work with anyone on say like a shooting, like Tiger Woods? They're all golfers have a swing coach. Do you have like a shooting coach or someone that you work with outside of your dad or the team?
Not really. I mean, every once in a while, if I'm in like a new place, like when I was in New York, I worked out with one of the guys that Isaac Green knows, him being from New York. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I have a shooting coach or anything, but I usually just get my work in on my own, and then with the staff and with my dad when I'm back home.
And how much time does that require on your own a day? Not practice, whatever, but just all right, I got to go put up 500 shots or whatever it is, because I know everybody has their own thing that they do, but that I know that takes a lot of time on its own.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get usually 2 workouts in a day other than practice, and then on off days, I usually if it's a day where I really need to take off, then I'll just do 1 workout. But if it's like we got no practice that day, but it's not really an off day, then I'll try to get 2 or 3 workouts again. But yeah.
With all the new additions, who has impressed you the most, and what has that surprise been?
I would say Luke Goody has surprised me a lot. Him coming off the bench at Illinois, he didn't really get that big of a opportunity and role, but he can really shoot it. And he's a great guy for the culture of the team too. You know, he's about the right things, and he goes about the game the right way.
Indiana kid playing for Indiana now. That's got to be, I would say, pretty cool for him getting to do that. Mentioned, how did you become friends with Reed Shepherd, by the way? Is it AAU?
Yeah, so I think our dads met at a camp that we were at together. And then we kind of started an AAU team at the time. It was called the Leftovers. And we played for a summer with them. We didn't lose a game. And then we kind of transitioned that into Midwest Basketball Club. And me and Reed kept playing together every AAU season. And me and him got really close, and our families got really close too.
And a great family. Obviously, his dad played for Kentucky. I think what was the Unforgettables, I think that was the name of that team that they played on for Rick Pitino. But you have something called, well, let's see me before I get to that. I've got an idea for a new show that I want to start with Cliff Marshall called Fun with Cliff Marshall, because I think it would mean anything but that. Your preseason workout, you guys they've dumped some sand behind the arena there. You guys are running in sand, carrying and throwing medicine balls, just basically getting the crap beat out of you physically. I know that is not fun because I remember going through that kind of stuff. But when you're out there with guys, who's motivating you guys besides Cliff?
I would say the guys this year do a really good job of motivating each other. You know, we've talked about like in some of our mental sessions, we talk about, you know, eustress, which is like the stress that's good for you, that's going to help you in the long run. So, you know, we try to think of that stuff as being eustress. It's going to help us in the long run. And we know that, you know, by doing hard things together, it's going to bring us closer together. And then we're also going to be a lot better team because of it.
What is the worst thing that he put you all through? The thing that you hate most?
The thing that I hate the most is the Versa climber. I mean, just because I think the smaller you are, you have to go a lot more than, you know, if it's Balo on it, then he can stride one time and he's got 15 feet, where I go 5 times and I get 10 feet. So, I mean, I feel like I'm doing a lot of work on the Versa, but, you know, same thing. It's going to help us in the long run, gets me in better shape. So I think I do a pretty good job of staying positive with that stuff.
Yeah, I remember when I was young, the coaches would always say, "We're going to run till I get tired."
Yeah,
and that, or you can't. We'll have water when I get thirsty.
Yeah.
So all of those good things. Your first year, like I said, you got earlier. You were thrown to the wolves, an unexpected injury to Xavier Johnson, so you had to play a lot more minutes than what had been anticipated. What are you looking forward to going into this year with this team, with your role? Because there's an abundance of depth where you guys can rotate in and out more fresh, I guess, and everyone can pretty much stay fresh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to just, you know, playing more comfortably. You know, I think last year I kind of took things too safely, but I think this year I've done a lot better job in practice and the summer so far of just, you know, playing freely and playing confidently. So I'm looking forward to that.
Kane and Carlisle and Miles Rice, I mentioned them earlier as well. What have they brought to the team from a guard standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good players. They can create for themselves, create for other guys, both super quick and athletic. But they're also good guys for the culture. I think everybody that we've brought in has been great for our team, and they're good teammates. So, you know, I have nothing to complain about with them. They've done a really good job, and, you know, I'm looking forward to keep improving with them.
And with all these additions that we've talked about added to this roster, which is impressive because really there's nobody on the roster, and not very few teams can say this. I'd say there's no one on that roster that has not and cannot produce. And that's usually not the case. It's usually, all right, you go 8, maybe 9 deep and things there's a drop off. Indiana doesn't really have that big drop off. I mean, you get all the way, we haven't even talked about Trey Galloway. He started last year as well. So, and Anthony Leal played quite a bit. So this is a different team, and the expectations have to be exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think the depth that we have is very uncommon. If it's not somebody's night, then one of us, it'll be our night. So I think that's comforting, and that's also very competitive. I think we've been going at it in practices. Not the same team wins every time. We got teams split up evenly, and we both compete with each other.
The Big Ten championship, which is a major deal, it's usually the number one goal, I think, for Indiana basketball first before anything else each year. Zach Edey is gone, and that has changed the makeup of the league. He was a freak of nature, a generational type player that really changed how people had to attack things. The Big Ten is wide open this year now, and I don't know everything about every team roster-wise, but what I know about Indiana, they're going to be one of the favorites to win the Big Ten championship this year. Yeah, I mean that's our expectation going into the season is we want to win a Big Ten title and then a national title. So, we're very focused on that throughout the summer. We've already talked about how we have to operate and how we have to do things on a day-to-day basis to make that goal a reality. I'm sure that Coach Woodson's personality has been very upbeat, having all of this talent on his bench. I mean, it's got to be pretty nice to know that every time you look over there, you're looking at, who knows, depending on who's on the floor, whether it's Luke Goody or Trey or yourself or Ja'Kai Newton that can actually play. I mean, there's no one he can look at that can't go into the game. So that's got to keep him in a very, very good mood. Yeah, he's definitely, I'm sure he's not mad about having a bunch of talent. What's been your favorite part about coming to Indiana and playing in Bloomington? I mean, I would say just playing in Assembly Hall. That's an energy that nothing can really replicate. So, I mean, it's been great, and I think it's only going to get better for me as we go on. And everybody talks about that. It's one of the loudest and most iconic arenas in the game. But as a player, I've talked to opposing players. I remember talking to Grayson Allen after Duke was here last. And he said, when you're 5 feet away from a teammate and you have to use hand signals, he goes, that's different, man. Yeah. But what's it like for the home team? Because you still have to deal with that noise as well. Yeah, I think you definitely get used to it and you find ways to communicate with guys. But also you just got to be loud. Like you have to communicate. Like you have to be loud. You have to yell, scream, whatever it takes to get the attention of your guys. Because you have to be able to communicate to be able to win. You guys just got started with, I guess you're a month in to summer workouts now. So yeah. The summers can't be a lot of fun. I'm sure it's just a lot of work, a lot of running, a lot of getting in shape and all of that. But you probably don't get too far out of shape. Yeah. I mean, that's one thing that I try to do because I never, take days off or anything. So, if I never get out of shape, then I never have to get in shape. So that's one thing that I try to do all the time. I know you guys do a lot of things as a team, fun things. I've seen you fishing and you just played putt the other night? Yeah. Yeah. Who's the champion putter? It was Goody and Gallo and Jaden and Jordan Rayford, because we have like our accountability groups. And so we had the average score from each group, and my team got second by 1 stroke. So
pissed me off a little bit, but
that's what you gotta be. You gotta be competitive, man. What's the funnest thing you've done this summer personally?
I would say going on a boat with Gallo and some of the guys. Trace and Race were on there. So it was kind of a mixture of past and present guys that I thought was really fun. It was cool.
Earlier I was talking about Bronny James being drafted. You know his father as well, LeBron. That's got to be a cool factor, no matter what anybody thinks of him, that to know one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
Yeah, I'm super happy for Bronny too. I think he's worked extremely hard, and he gets a lot of hate that, has just been put on him because of his name. But I think if you take away his name, he still excels at basketball. Like, he's worked extremely hard and he's super skilled. So, I think he'll do well in the league, and, he'll be a great player.
Are you a golfer?
Nah, I'm not. Everybody's telling me I need to get into it. But man, my dad told me about when he was golfing in college. He got so mad he threw his entire clubs in the lake. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Well, see, I get that. I used to throw when I was young. I'd get mad and throw a club until one day a friend of mine said, "Dude, you're not good enough to throw a club." And that never left me, because it was absolutely true. I wasn't. So that has stuck with me. It doesn't mean I don't get mad, but it's a lifelong challenge that I can promise you. Gabe Cupps, brother, I can't thank you enough. Oh, we got to talk about your breakfast club. Almost forgot. The Gabe Cupp Breakfast Club. First of all, that's something you brought to Indiana with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing that since I think I started in probably 5th grade. I started working out before elementary school, and then once I got to middle school.
5th grade.
Once I got to middle school, I started going to, my dad's breakfast clubs with his high school guys. But, my mom worked at the elementary, so she would get there an hour before class started. So then I would just go to the gym and work out before my 5th grade classes.
And you've continued that on. And as a matter of fact, you have T-shirts and things like that for that, right?
Yeah, I do.
And where can people find those?
On my NIL store, or if you go to my Instagram, you can use the link in my page.
There you go. Make sure you go there and support our friend Gabe Cupps. Appreciate him taking his time again to be with us, as always. Gabe, I appreciate you immensely, and good luck with Cliff's Fun Farm for the rest of the summer.
Yes,
and
sir.
We will talk to you soon, man.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Gabe Cupps joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
I've got one of my ideas. I even made some drawings. I was bored, I guess, but Gabe's cup runneth over. with the cup, and the cup is designed like a net.
Yeah.
A hoop with a net and a ball going in it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because Mike owns a Free Think Apparel and Promotions, which they make all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm always trying to tell him, like, dude, why aren't you doing this? And so I'm gonna bring that up to him. But I'm no artist, but I was like, I just saw that the other day, as a matter of fact. Oh yeah, it's on my phone. But I'm like, I am definitely no artist. Let's see, where are those? What's your day setting up to be?
Not much. I'm gonna do some homework.
You guys get off today?
Yeah, we got off today and then through the weekend. So
wow, all weekend?
Yeah, so a bunch of guys went home for a couple of days, but I'm going home, I think, Saturday.
Oh, and you got to be back on Monday?
Yeah.
That is a short trip.
Yeah. Just
How
going
far
down
is it?
today.
Like
It's
4 hours?
it's a little under 3.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
All right, let's see. Screenshots, maybe. Trying to find this stupid thing real quick, but I'm not going to make you wait long. Oh, well, I'll find it as soon as I hang up, I'm sure. But yeah, I was like, that's pretty cool. So I have to get him on that. Do you ever have your own ideas?
Yeah, I mean, my sister and my family helps me come up with those things. My sister's pretty creative with that stuff.
Let's see. Where the hell is Gabe's cup runneth over? I love that. I thought that was funny. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Oh, well, damn it. Well, brother, I appreciate you very, very much and look forward to doing it again.
Yes,
And
sir. Thanks for having me.
And I'll get back to you on the other stuff as well.
Okay. That sounds
Thanks,
good.
brother.
Yes,
And
sir.
I appreciate you. You have a great one, Gabe. Have a
You
great
too.
rest of your weekend.
Thank you. See ya.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. You have about 7 or 8 minutes here.
Cooked to perfection in Chop Shop Steakhouse. Chop Shop Market and Table, a part of the Wild Food Group, is your butcher, baker, and fish house, no matter where you live.
This segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this July 4th, Thursday. So happy for you to be with us. Appreciate you immensely. Been a great day already. Shannon, Griffith from Hoosier Tailgate, Bob Kravitz of bobkravitz.com. And we just wrapped up with Gabe Cupps from Indiana basketball. The Hoosiers are in the midst of summer workouts. And fun conversation with Gabe. He's very, very good. In interviews, he gives good answers, not too long, not too short, very informative. Yeah, I could see TV in his future. He's obviously a very knowledgeable guy, being the son of a coach. You know that is sunk deeply into his head. So wishing him the best of luck this year, and on a talented, busy team that, like I said, man, you look at that bench and you're like, you could go a lot of different ways and not hurt yourself as far as talent that will be starting, coming in off the bench. And that's another thing for Indiana. Starting, not starting, it doesn't really matter, because there are guys that will be on that bench that won't be starting that probably could be starting. So it's going to be interesting. Indiana, I hate, golly, non-Indiana fans will just find this as such a homer statement. But like I said, Illinois just lost Jeremiah Fears. Purdue has lost Zach Edey. I don't know who has a more talented top to bottom roster than Indiana does. They just killed it in the transfer portal. They're deep at pretty much every position. I don't know that you would call them deep at the big with Umar Ballo. His backup is a guy that doesn't play the same game as him. So Renew could step in there. So there's probably enough depth there, but you never know. That could, if both those guys were to get into foul trouble, it would be a different type of offense for Indiana. But that's another positive for that team, is they could play a lot of different ways. Having Umar Ballo in and then having Hatton in, that's two different offenses that you have to defend. That's two different styles of offense that you're going to have to defend, because Hatton can step out. Ballo's not going to step out, but he's going to dominate the paint. And so there are just so many options. There's reason to expect that Gabe Cupps is going to have a better year as well. You've got these other transfers, Rice and Carlisle, that had already had good seasons last year, and Mackenzie Mbako. I would not be surprised if he took a really big step this year. He needs to take a bigger step. He needs to be a leader for that team, and in more ways than one, not just vocally or leader of that type, but they need him to be a leader by example. They need him to shoot, score, play defense, do the things that he needs to do. Trey Galloway and Malik Renew can be the vocal leaders, but you also have to have guys that are leaders by example. Renew is one of those. He does both. Trey Galloway has done both at times. Malik Renew needs to step into that role of being a leader by example, because there's going to be a lot riding on his abilities for this team to be successful. For Indiana to be really successful this year, Mackenzie Mbako has to be successful. He is the best shooter on the team, and they've added Luke Goody to that, as you just heard Gabe Cupps talk about. He has been good for the culture, which that never hurts you. So the additions all seem to be pretty good. And like I said, it has given Mike Woodson a lot of options. You're going to see the two bigs without question. I don't see, but you're not going to see that all the time. So what does that do to the defenses that they're playing against? Does that help or confound them? Well, we'll find out this fall, but like I said, that's a lot of options, man. They're also asking, is Cliff involved with Ballow's stamina? He's involved with everybody's stamina. He's the guy, man. So yes is the answer to that. Dayton, Ohio is where Gabe is from. Actually, that's a different town name than that. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but John Boy, what do you got planned for the rest of the 4th of July? Do you have your snakes and sparklers?
I don't. Maybe I need to stop at one of those pop-up tents you see in grocery stores.
Well, and Joe Dirt, he just sold them on the side of the road. So you can stop by and get the good stuff, the snakes and sparklers.
That's right. I'll be the place to be in the neighborhood.
I have no snakes or sparklers. Maybe I'll light a fire instead. But
hey, fire, especially if it's not too hot or muggy.
It's too hot and too muggy.
And the rain's coming in. So I don't know if
I guess it's not going to be too hot today. What are temperatures? It's only going to get up in the 84 for a high, 85 tomorrow, 84 on Saturday. That looks like to be an absolutely outstanding day. A high of 84 on Saturday with mostly sunny skies. Rain today, 100%. Rain tomorrow, 37%. But then it's not going to be too bad over the next half a week after that. I mean, temperatures in the mid, little upwards for a little bit, but back down to, man, I'll take 85 degrees.
Yeah. 85 isn't too bad.
What was yesterday? What did he get up to
yesterday? We were, at least in my neck of the woods, we were near the mid 90s.
It was brutal. I mean, it took me an hour to cool down. And I'm not kidding. It was awful. I thought I was going to pull a Cincinnati Red pitcher and put that out. Phillips says that assuming Galloway is healthy, he starts. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. I don't know that he does or he doesn't.
I think the starting lineup in general this year is going to be interesting to see what Mike Woodson rolls out for the first couple of games, because this feels like the first time in a while where it doesn't seem like the starters are evident from day one, at least all 5 of them.
No, but that's mainly because of the addition of Carlisle and Rice.
Yeah.
That's, as a matter of fact, it is because of the additions of Carlisle and Rice. Which one was Rice? The
Rice
Pac-12
was
freshman
the
of the year?
Pac-12 freshman of the year at Washington
Yeah.
State.
So right there, you're like, really? He's not going to start?
And plus, Kanan Carlisle, apparently he's outside of Mackenzie Mbako. He's Indiana's next best bet as of right now of somebody going to the NBA draft next year.
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to imagine those two not starting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, yes, starting doesn't really matter much. It's who plays the most and who ends the game. So you've got that going for you. But then you would also have an ex-starter coming off of the bench.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. So lots of good things. Glad we got to have that conversation with Gabe. He was awesome. Big thanks to him for doing that. Bob Kravitz from BobKravitz.com. As always, Shannon Griffith from Hoosier Tailgate as well. Tomorrow, we're back to do it again. Zach Osterman, Todd Hollowell. Well, you'll learn more about him tomorrow. He's one of the best fishermen around. And Xavier Johnson joins us as we'll talk to him, get caught up with what's going on with the X after a lot of workouts and see what his next move is as well. Big thanks to John for keeping us between the white lines and each and every one of our guests. Most importantly, each and every one of you. Without you, we have no reason to be here each day, and we're grateful. Until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. Happy 4th of July. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.